So I got this childhood Game Boy of mine. As you can see, the screen's fine, but I'll get into that later. But most of it, it's pretty beat up. You got like these scuff marks. It's missing a battery cover. Scratches like all over. Scratches are all over the place. Like it's pretty messed up. This is a childhood Game Boy. You have the top. This sticker. This sticker right here is missing. Um, the screen is fine because a few years ago I actually cleaned this thing. I took it apart and cleaned it, and I just replaced the screen. I have the original screen behind me somewhere, but this is a special edition gold. It's the gold and silver special edition, gold and silver Pikachu special edition Game Boy, and this was my brother's when we were kids, and unfortunately I do not have my Game Boy Colors anymore, but I do have this, and this was at least saved from our childhood, and it's clean already. I haven't really used it. Since I cleaned it, so it's clean. I'm not gonna clean it again, but I am going to restore it in other ways. So, for example, the A button doesn't press as good as it should. Like if I do that, I have to like click it pretty hard for it to register an input. So I'm gonna see if I can fix that. The speaker is also corroded. I'm pretty sure it doesn't really, whatever's wrong with it doesn't really work. So I'm gonna be replacing the speaker. And as you can see here, I actually got a replacement shell from eBay and you could say that it's not the original shell. I should try to work with this. At first I got it to just put the battery cover on the back of this, just to have a battery cover, but this thing's so beat up and it's not really worth like trying to paint all this, and it's just not worth it. So I will, however, when I do reshell this with the new shell, I'm going to keep this old shell and the old screen for authenticity's sake in storage, but for the most part it's going to be completely new. Yeah, and like the color's so faded on this, as you can see on the replacement, like there's much more gold than this one is. So like putting this battery cover here would look kind of weird. So I'm just gonna replace the whole thing. So put that off to the side. I have the speaker right here from Funny Playing. It's pretty cool. It was like the same price as like every eBay speaker that I saw. So I figured I might as well get the Funny Playing one since it's nice. And a recognizable brand. So get the iFixit toolkit that got from my buddy Gino. And we're gonna start taking this bad boy apart. Case is off. I'm not gonna really use these screws. I'm gonna use the screws that the case came with, because one thing people don't realize is the first time I ever tried to, when I first got into the hobby years ago, when I tried to replace a Game Boy Color shell, a mistake I made was trying to reuse the screws, because I'm like, oh, this is the screws they came with, but that's that's not a good idea if you are in this hobby, because you just end up messing up where the screws sit in the plastic on the new case, because it's not the right screw. So put that over there. Yeah, like when I originally refurbished this, I had to clean the battery contacts. I did a lot of stuff that I'm not going to see in this video. That would have been cool to see, I guess, but it is fine. So it's open. You gotta take out these two, this screw and this screw. I don't know why I took this off. I also grabbed the wrong screw head. So now that those screws are out, we have to remove, there's 2 latches here. We push those up, pull the ribbon cable out, then we can take the board out. So I know people like to use tweezers and zoom-ins in their videos, but it's not really necessary for something this easy. It's not that difficult to do this with your hands. You know, Elliot on the Retro Future even said in an older video, like, I only do this for the sake of the shot, but we're not really concerned about that here. Why is this not coming up? Am I missing a screw somewhere? Oh, I see. There's a 3rd screw right there that I forgot about. So there are 3 screws we have to remove. And yeah, now the board is off, as you can see. Now, I don't know what's wrong with my speaker, but it could be with the fact that there's, I don't know if you guys can see that. So it's not corroded, it looks like. It's a little dirty, or a little smudgy. But there's like a cut right through the plastic or whatever that is there. That could be why the speaker's not working well. Regardless, we're going to remove that. So I got into soldering. One of the biggest reasons I haven't done this sooner was when it comes to restoration, I kind of wanted to stay like in the realm of easiness. So like I would just kind of stick to like taking it apart, cleaning them in soap and water, alcohol on the boards. I was like very surface level restoration, because it was safe and easy. But you know, there are certain things that you just kind of have to solder for, like changing a speaker right here. So I actually practiced soldering recently on a N64 motherboard that I have that's just junk parts. It doesn't have a shell or anything. It doesn't really work. But it powers on, and I kind of use that to, what do you call it? I practice removing the power connector as for practice to say if you bend the, you know, this is hard plastic, you can be a little rough with it. If you bend it a little bit, the screen will come right out, as you can see. So I was just bending it back and forth, and now the screen is out. I'm not going to replace the screen. I kind of want this to be, you know, as authentic as it can be. So that old screen is going back in there. I'm not going to really be playing this. It's just meant for restoration's sake. Now we got the shell part. I can move the shell away. Put the shell back together. Right there, like that. I'm going to move this out of the way for now. I'll store that a little better later on. However, I will reuse for the original feel, I'm going to reuse all this. If I have to. Sometimes, you know, like, so for A and B, so like maybe like this, I could clean these a little better, so like it makes contact on the board, and really thoroughly clean these contacts. It could just be it's not making a good connection because it's not clean enough, which is usually the issue. But if it's maybe something's wrong with those buttons, then I will be using the replacement rubber pads if I have to. But that's all good. I'm not worried about that right now. So let's take out the shell and see what we got going on here. Actually, you know what? Let's not do this yet. Let's not start this yet at all. Put that to the side. I'm going to do the speaker now. So let me pull out my iron, which is in my desk right here. So I'm gonna heat this up to, I read online like the safe temperatures for soldering are like, for this kind of stuff is like in that 330, 350, like in that 330 range. But so I'll try to stick to that, but I'll make it harder if I need to. You know, it was all new to me. So another thing is, I don't think I need to remove the metal. I'll add salt or more. I'll re-tin these. I add more tin to it if I need to, but I don't think I need to completely remove the metal. I guess like if I want to be like fancy, I could do the whole braid thing for practice sake. But you know, we'll see. Let's pull out the funny playing speaker so it's just ready. Oh, how the case doesn't even close, so they had to tape it. That's funny. So this is the new speaker. Has the funny playing logo on it. So I'll put that on the side here. And the box over there. And I will start heating up my iron. Let's turn that bad boy on. Let's get some flux onto this. This is a brand new. Funny enough, when I bought this cheap Amazon soldering iron, and I didn't have. It came with soldering paste. Now, typically, when I refer to soldering paste, I know it as flux, and I don't know what the fuck. Just get a little bit on there. I don't know what the fuck. Soldering paste. I just thought flux was flux. So I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what soldering paste was, and that's what I used to practice on the N64 board with. Everything worked out fine there. But I ended up buying flux just in case, and like new tin and stuff like that has flux in it, which the old tin did not. But yeah, like I just you know. Apparently soldering paste is another name for flux. It's the moral of the story here. I didn't know this. But I could be wrong because Google was telling me lots of different things and I'm not really too sure. I had to talk to ChatGPT to try to help me out. You know, I'll keep this tape to retape it. Tin's right there. How hot is this iron? Iron feels pretty decently hot. So let's try to get this out. You know what? I'm just gonna use the braid. Let me do this all. Let me do this the correct quote unquote way. Oh my god, I burnt myself a little bit. It wasn't that bad. I didn't touch it that long. I didn't touch the rubber of the soldering iron. I might have gotten that out all in one go. Let's see. Oh, look at that. That one was a lot easier. So, yep, that's the speaker right there. Yeah, it's like a slash through the speaker. I don't even know how that happened. Huh. Put that to the side because you never know. Let me see if that's enough. Oh, that's a nice bubble. I might need a little bit more on this other one, but you know, that's pretty good. When I practiced on the N64 board, it was very, very ugly. So I'm pretty proud of that, I'd say. I might need a little bit more on the bottom one. You know, let me put a little bit more on the bottom one. It does not hurt. To make it a little bit more bulbous. Let's turn that iron off. Oh yeah. Look at that. Great job. Now, I will move all this out of the way. I need the... Okay. Speakers in there. I'll test that out in a second. So now that this is like that, I'm gonna clean it. Let me move some stuff out of the way here. Close my flux. Close that out of the way to create some space. And as we can see here, I got MG chemicals, you know, as well Tinkering uses in his videos. Got some alcohol here. This one's about to run out, but I just bought a fresh bottle, so that's nice. And start cleaning this board. Oh, you know what? That looks pretty good. Oh, this board is kind of dirty. I don't think I ever cleaned the board. I give that a hole. So now you can see like the bulbs a little better. Yeah, I did a pretty good job, I feel like. I just hope I put the speakers in the right way. So actually, let me, I'm gonna clean the fuck out of this. Oh, spilled some alcohol. It's fine. So, no, that's clean. I need to... This is something that it could also be, so I'm gonna actually clean the inside of this with some alcohol, because this could also be the reason it's not contacting well. So, give it a nice cleaning. Put it down so it's a little easier. You know, that's fine if that's coming off. That's not you rubbing it off. That black stuff is the rubber just it deteriorated over time and just like maybe didn't come off. It just kind of like residue left over from years of clicking the A and B button. So we're not really too concerned about all this gunk. So an issue I had, because we're about to, you know, put the new shell on. One issue I actually had with the first time I ever tried to reshell a Game Boy Color, I realized that, you know, these shells aren't always perfect. So like, one issue you can have is like, gotta make sure this is nice and clean in here. Don't want to have any issues with reading Game Boy games. But yeah, so one issue you can have with these reshells is that it doesn't maybe, how do you say this? The plastic is not necessarily perfect, so it might not close exactly how you want it to. So when that happens, you need to probably trim some plastic. You need to trim some plastic off, and that's completely fine. I need a fucking cotton. I need a Q-tip for this. It's like a little gunk in there that the toothbrush can't get. But yeah, so if this shell doesn't close properly, I'm gonna probably need to trim some of the plastic so that it closes how it should. Well, that's done. Move all this out of the way. Just spilled some more alcohol. Just making some space. I'm gonna move this to the side. And now we have to put this shell together. Let's do that. What the? Tell me that's... Okay, yeah. Okay, that's a screen protector. I was about to say, I was like, why is there scratches on this screen? But it's just a screen protector, which is A-okay. Here is the screws. Is there like a screen protector over the heatsink here? Is that why it's that color? Let's see if I can remove that. Oh yeah, there's definitely some, not a screen protector, but there's technically some sort of film over this that I would like to remove. Let me take it off and it'll be easier to remove if I remove it from the shell. This does not feel as nice as the old one, so I kind of want to use the old one. Maybe it won't be an issue. Also, getting this off seems annoying because I was already trying there. So I'm gonna actually use the old heatsink over here. Yeah, I'm just gonna use the old one. That's too much right now. I'm not trying to deal with all that. Could clean this, but it seems fine. You know this thing was well loved because there's like a little of a, I don't know if you see it there, there's a little dent in the heat shield. It's like you knew this thing was thrown around a lot. But that's not a bad thing, as Elliot from Retro Future says, is that it's just well loved. I tend to agree with him. So it's interesting. This is different. So if you notice in here, the plastic on the inside is not gray at all. Or in there either. However, in this, the original shell, the inside is gray. So that tells me this is meant to be gray with a gold accent. Whereas this one is just straight up, this is gold. Which, it's fine. It's better than having a fucked up shell, and I will still have the old one for authenticity's sake, like I said earlier. So, it's fine. It's not a big deal. I always forget this. This goes on the outside? This goes on the outside. Okay. I remember now. I'm not stupid, I swear. Wow, there's scratches all over this. That's interesting. So I will actually use this screen. I'll take this one off. Because that is wild that that is all scratched up. Oh no, wait. I forgot. I mentioned this earlier. That is a protective film that is scratched up. So never mind. We are good in that department. All the film's on there. Don't worry about getting your fingerprints all over the screen. Just make sure this is well sticked on. And then we'll get the screen protector off here in a second, just to make sure that the screen is actually fine. Oh yeah, that screen is perfect. Okay. We are good. I should have waited to take that off, but that's fine. Okay, so now you can start reassembling this thing. Put the speaker in the case. Oh, there we go. Now it's getting in there. Now we gotta screw these down. Pull out the new screws. Don't need the new button. Oh wait, I forgot a crucial step. I didn't put the buttons on. Let's do that. So you gotta drop the D-pad in like that, like so. You know, I might as well have cleaned that too. I'll do that right now. Put in the... You don't have to sit here and figure out where the buttons go. You can kind of just figure it out based on the orientation of these things. Let me hit this real quick. I forgot to do that initially. And you know, now I think about it, I don't think I hit the start and select screen. I will clean those real quick. I'm glad I caught that before I put it back together. And it's definitely a little bit early. I don't know why I didn't notice to hit the start and select screen. So I'm doing that now. So now we can go ahead and... I was putting the board upside down before. That's why the speaker was not going in. So yes, I am stupid. The astute of you definitely noticed me putting it in the wrong way. Oh my god, the astute of you realized my mistake again. I did not put the Game Boy screen in the Game Boy. I'm glad I noticed that now and not later. Oh my goodness, almost made a horrible mistake. And now we can put the Game Boy finally back together. Well, time to put this sticker on. Sucks with the sticker a little bit, but here's what it is. That little nick will make it still feel old. I don't know, I'm just talking to myself. Why is this jangling? There's a loose screw in here. Oh, why are the buttons? Oh my goodness. Well, I've made a horrible, horrible mistake. I did not put... Ugh. I did not put the rubber for the buttons. For the astute of you who noticed that, good job. You win nothing, because I don't have anything to give. The last screw of our adventure, and then we test to see if everything is working as it should. Okay, grab my rechargeable batteries that I have in my sling bag that I use for my Game Boy Advance. Nice. Let's just see if that... Oh, it sounds great. Turns on. Why is the power switch so tough? Ah, is it because I tightened it really hard? Why don't I? That definitely sounds a lot better now. Let's get a... Let's get a panel here. Wipe off the screen a little bit. It's definitely looking a lot cleaner. I wonder if there's a more high quality mod of the shell. If you guys know, this was only $15. If you guys know if there's a higher quality mod shell of this Pikachu edition, or if there's someone is selling their shell that's in good condition, which I doubt, definitely let me know, because this does feel off and a little cheap, but that's fine. Let me grab a Pokemon game, since it says Pokemon edition. console. We will grab my Pokemon Crystal, which was also my brother's growing up that I still use to this day. And we want to see if... So this is an interesting run, as you can see with the amount of time I have on it. I made a legit all shiny team. There's my Miltank. The speaker sounds perfectly fine. It was inaudible before almost. Dun, 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 dun. And there you go. My brother's Pikachu Edition Game Boy. Back to former glory. I don't have that sticker. Wish I did. It is what it is. Yeah, definitely let me know if there's like a better shelling that looks exactly like this out there on the market. But look, so before, if I did this, if I would press gently like that, if I did, it wouldn't press that well. So definitely, soft pressing definitely works again. So I would say that is a success. The A button works. Yeah, moving around. The B button is working. Let's see if select works. It does. See, I made an all shiny team for this. It's a pretty cool run. Maybe I'll make a video about it at some point. It took me 2 months to grinding for this, but that's another video. The Game Boy works great. It looks good. It feels a little cheap. That's my review of these $15 shells. But it looks like how it would have back in the day. It's not ugly. It's refurbished. The speaker works, which is what I really mainly cared about. And the buttons work again, which is also what I mainly cared about. So I would consider this a success. I'm sure it'll feel a lot better if I use it more. Probably not going to. Maybe I will actually, just because I love the form factor of these Game Boys. But we'll see. Well, if anyone was watching, thank you. That was great. Goodbye.